Yeah, it's a privilege to be here. My name is Caleb, as it was said. I'm 24 years old. I graduated from Loughborough University. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. I enjoyed it. Had so many experiences, and it was there really. And leading up to uni, I really understood what it meant to dream and bring dreams to life and dreams to reality. I want to keep this short, not because I plan to, but I'm dying for the toilet, so we'll speed this up. No, I'm joking. I put thought into this, and I will take my time, so it's all good. Yeah, this whole event is about dreaming. This whole event is about not just dreaming, but bringing dreams to life. I think it was Thomas Edison who said, "Vision without execution is simply hallucination." And that's so true. It's great to have a dream, but as Andre said, you don't want to be a gas man. You want to be someone who executes it and brings it to life and has stories to tell. Martin Luther King could have been, he could have had this dream and then told a few of his friends and then just left it there, but he didn't. He let that dream really convict him and really go deep into his heart, and he brought that to life. And I want to inspire you guys to have dreams, but not just to dream it, but to bring it to life. And that's my aim today, is to inspire you to do that. And the way I'm going to do that is to try and tackle one of the biggest things that I think stops us from dreaming, the biggest stumbling block. When I was thinking about it on the train on the way here, the image that came to me in the example of how this is depicted in an analogy that I got was, who here growing up played Football Manager? Put your hand up, I can see it in your eyes, you're touched by that game. Anybody else here? Football Manager? Yeah. Did anyone do this? When you were playing, like, you put so much time and effort into the team management, into the training, the financing, all of that, yeah? And then you'd play the game, and if you lost the game, you restarted it and made sure that you did it again. You know what I mean? You could not fail. There was no chance you were going to lose. And at the end of the season, you were like 100% record. I won all the games. I bought Figo, Zidane, all these players with starting as Hayes, like, you know what I mean? And it was just this thing, and it really captured, I felt, what as a nation we're afraid of and what stops us from dreaming. And it's this fear of failure. This fear of failure cripples us. It stops us from thinking what can be achieved. And we don't dream because we're afraid we might fail. For me personally, I think the reason why I'm here is because I'm undergoing a project at the minute which is all about this. And it's really opened my eyes in a big way. So I'm kind of here to really just share my testimony, really. So it started at university. I studied civil engineering, a master's in civil engineering. A lot of people say, you must be smart, but if I was smart, I wouldn't have done that subject because I did enjoy it. But I learned so much from it. It taught me how to think logically, systematically, all of that stuff. But as it came to the end of it, I had a business idea, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to bring a business idea to life. I did this in my second year. I submitted it to the uni, the idea. I always whenever I was out on nights out, all the time, I'd always see girls take their shoes off and walk home. And I was like, what is going on here? And girls would constantly be moaning about the high heels, how much it was hurting. So I thought, solution. Any business problem, you see a solution. I thought, I'll come up with an idea for flip-flops. So you went outside and I did a business plan, the annual business competition. I submitted it. I was like, I put so much time and effort into this business plan. Put my degree on hold for this business plan to go ahead. And I didn't even know, I think it was called Safe Souls or something like that. But basically, like, did it, got failed. Like, didn't hear anything back. I was gutted. I put so much time and effort into it. But left it there. And then in the final year, this business competition comes round, and I see it again. And I've always had a little idea in my head for another business idea. So I thought, I've got 10 minutes to submit this idea. I can't be bothered to work on this dissertation. Let me just nail this idea, put it in a message and send it off. Spent like literally 10 minutes doing it in the place where we study. Next thing I know, I get emails saying, oh, you made it into the final rounds, you're up for pitching it to the Dragons. You have to do a 3-minute pitch for your business idea. So I was like, yeah, sure. To give you a bit of context of how hard the course was and everything else, the pitch was at 9 a.m. I had a hand in at 8 a.m. Just did it all nighter. 6 a.m. quickly put together the business pitch, handed in the coursework. 9 a.m. went in, pitched the idea to the Dragons. Lo and behold, get through to the very final round, and this is where they invite all these prestigious people, and there's a few of my good friends here who made the finals too, I see. But yeah, at the finals, I ended up winning the Social Enterprise Award and won funding to start this business idea. And this was my first lesson in not giving up. Persevere when you first fail. And so that was real eye-opening for me. So I decided this year, I'm going to take a year out and really work on bringing this business idea to life. So I began telling people, as you say, Andre, when you tell people, you're forced to execute your idea. And so telling people, but everybody felt the need to tell me like 4 out of 5 companies fail, the doom and gloom of it, or why do you even want to do this? Like, there's no point. And so I thought to myself, like, what's the point of doing anything if the statistics are stacked against you? If you're going to fail, what's the reason? So I was a little bit disheartened, but you know, I was like, I'll go for it anyway. And I was telling someone this, and on the train, on the way home, I bumped into a friend who was so random, I think it was God, but it was so random that basically, like, it was God coordinated, not I bumped into God. I can see people going, blasphemy, like, yeah, I believe God coordinated it. And basically, like, we're sitting on this train journey, and this guy goes, I see you're a little bit disheartened about this. I got an idea for you. There's this game called rejection therapy. It's something in America, but check it out. And instantly, like, something just went off in my head, and I was like, I didn't know what it was, but I thought, this resonates. So I researched it. The game consisted of going out and doing things that people thought, just simply go out and fail, to develop your internal, like, your thick skin, develop your fair. So I thought, I could do something similar, but really make it my own and focus on graduates, entrepreneurs, and people my age. And in this country, as I say, the educational system, everything is set up to make failure the end all. You see so many suicides related to education. You see so many, like, recently an intern committed suicide after, like, slaving away in a bank. And this idea of failing is just like, we cannot fail. And then we look to America and you look at the Silicon Valley and this culture of total sort of, they embrace failure, they appreciate it. And I just want to quickly shout out Claude, actually. He's someone who leads the way in seeing a dream and bringing it to life. Obstacles makes it going. And maybe we just give him a round of applause for bringing this to life. I was so challenged by this, so I thought, okay, Lent is coming up. I'll do 40 days of rejection, or 40 days of challenges that people think is impossible, but I'm going to go out and try and succeed. And I'll try and bring this to life. And if I fail, I teach people that failure is a valuable experience, and then we crack on and move on to the next challenge. We grow, we develop our personal skills. So as you say, I put it out on the Facebook page. I was hoping no one would like it because I wasn't convinced I wanted to do it. But instantly people started liking it, and I was like, no, I'm actually going to have to execute this. So went out, like, didn't have a camera, didn't have the resources or anything to do it. So I borrowed a camera, as I usually do, just wrote my little sister in to do the filming. And I had a bit of editing skills from A-level media that I loved, so I just decided to do this. So people started giving me challenges on Twitter, on Facebook. It began to snowball, and before I knew it, I was getting all these challenges, and then I was like, okay, let's do this. And so it was so eye-opening, and this project, my 40 days, began to open me up to this idea that failure is a valuable experience. And when you go out and you think something is impossible, you often are surprised by how often you succeed at actually doing it. So a few of these challenges to give you a bit of insight. So one was to go up to strangers and ask for £100. So I was going up to strangers, like, it's the craziest thing. Imagine just going up to someone, it's alright to ask for £1 or £10. You haven't got £100, have you? It does something to you inside. You humiliate people, look at you like, some don't even stop, some people think, what is he doing? But others quite challenged by this concept that you're doing. So that was day one, really broke down some barriers. As time went on, it developed. Some took a very humorous approach, others took a more serious approach. One other humorous one was the challenge was to go into the fast food chains and try and get them to cook my raw chicken. So I took this 2 kilogram chicken into, like, KFC. I don't think they'd ever seen proper chicken before. So I walked in, and I was just like, hi, could you cook my chicken? Dead straight face. Like, I've never walked into a place before and seen people react in that way. It's just an experience. No one would believe I did this stuff if I didn't film it. Like, it's all on YouTube, trust me. And one of the, probably the hardest one I did, or up there with fun, was, so I help out at a church in London, and one of the students there said, come into our university and take the lecture. And instantly my heart started beating. I was like, what lecture? She's like, I'm a medic student. I'm like, I'm not smart enough to do medic lecture. And then she was like, yeah, there's 400 students, just come in. It's a 2-hour lecture. After the first lecture, they swap over. So after the first lecture finishes, jump on stage and take the lecture. I'm like, what? So I thought, okay, when my heart beats, it's a good sign. I need to do it. I need to come out of my fear and overcome my fear. So I get there. It's King's College. These are the smart of the smart. Do you know what I mean? And to make it even harder, part of the challenge was I wouldn't prepare for what I was going to do. So can you imagine that? So I get up on a stage like this, 400 people staring at me. I'm just like, I pick up the lecture notes. I put the lecture notes down. I'm just like, okay, come on, sit down, hurry up, quiet down. Everybody just sits and just listens. And I'm like, okay, guys, today I'm going to speak on. And the first thing that came into my head, I was reading a book called The Perfect Pitch. I was like, the relationship between neuroscience and storytelling. And just began to take this lecture, and it was so much fun until the senior lecturer actually walked in. And like, she walks in, it's all on camera, I promise you. She walks in and she's there, and she looks at me and she goes, who are you? And I was just like, Mr. Meakins, who are you? And I shook her hand, and she was just bewildered. And got a standing ovation, walked out, and it just, that was one of the challenges, and they've taken similar themes. Others have, Nivea got in touch, they were like, here's a challenge, can you do that? We're loving what you're doing. We tried to get Innocent Drinks to sponsor the project, they said no, so we bombarded them with messages and tweets and everything else. Probably went too far with that one. But like, it's just been real eye-opening, and when you step out, you see so many rewards, and this graduate of the year thing, I couldn't even have dreamed of that. To tell you the truth, like, I found my degree so hard, like, not naturally bright, and it's all out of just stepping out. People find inspiration when you step out, and they follow you, and all of that. So other stuff that have been highlights from it, there was a National Student Apprentice. I was a judge for that, don't ask me how. Next to all these prestigious sort of London Chamber of Commerce sitting next to me, I'm just like I can't explain how you get there, but when you step out and actually think that you can't fail, doors open and people find inspiration in that. So it's ironic that when you overcome the stumbling block that stops you from chasing your dreams, you don't only begin to achieve your dreams, but you can begin to inspire others to chase their dreams too. So to bring it to an end, I want to kind of point out failures in history of people that have failed and carried on, and we look at them now and think they're massive successes, but really it was their failure that propelled them into those places. The first one I want to take is J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling wrote books, and she had a kid. She was raising a kid on her own, and she had to go to 12 publishers before they finally accepted her. This lady's richer than the Queen now. This lady was rejected 12 times. Well, like, she could have stopped after 5. She should have stopped after 10. She kept going. J.K. Rowling. Another one I want to point to is this guy here. He's called Colonel Sanders. Anyone know Colonel Sanders? Yeah. So the founder of KFC, he started his dream at 65 years old. He got rejected. He had an idea for a recipe. He got rejected 1,009 times, knocking on doors and knocking. Now look at it, one of the most recognized fast food restaurants. The other person I want to point to is Walt Disney. This guy, his first company, it got bankrupt, and people told him, you don't have imagination. Look at what he's done, the Mickey Mouses and all of this. He set the precedent. The next person I want to point to is Mark Cuban. Some of you may not have heard of this guy. But he tried different things. His mom said, why don't you get a proper job? He tried carpentry, couldn't do it. In the end, this is what he said. He said, I've learned that it doesn't matter how many times you fail, Cuban says. You only have to be right once. I tried to sell powdered milk. I was an idiot lots of times, and I learned from them all. So I tell you what he ended up doing? He ended up starting a company that he sold to Yahoo for $5.9 billion. Then he went on and bought the NBA's Dallas Mavericks. When you actually step out and overcome your fear of failure, this is what happens, guys. So take inspiration from that.
Would you like to be at our next event? Visit dreamnation.co.uk and join our free mailing list in the top right-hand corner. You will receive exclusive content and free updates on future projects so that you'll never have to miss out again. Work hard and keep dreaming.